staying with us. This next segment is one especially for our faith-based viewers. Wifer Ministry is a Christian organization focused on empowering and equipping wives and wives-to-be. This ministry is aimed at helping wives build strong, God-centered marriages, deepen their relationships with their husbands, and grow spiritually as women of faith. Founded some 7 years ago by Zemi Stewart, this organization provides support and guidance to women in their marriages, facilitates faith-based studies to strengthen relationships and personal growth, hosts gatherings for encouragement, fellowship, and practical advice for wives and wives-to-be. In studio to tell us more about Wifer Ministry and her upcoming Galentine's event is Zemi Stewart. Welcome to What's Trending, Zemi. It's great to see you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, obviously, what inspired you to start Wifer Ministry, and how did the idea come about?
Well, it's interesting. So I was a newlywed about 3 months in, and my personal slogan at the time was healed, empowered, restored. And essentially the Lord led me to launch this initiative to help women transition into marriage. You're never fully ready, but to help you transition. And since then, we've learned that we help women through transitions period. So from single to married, from childless to children, career shifts. So just building that resilience period to manage any transition.
Well, so what was the initial vision for the organization, and how has it evolved since its inception?
It's interesting because I always thought that we would help women from a practical perspective to learn how to fold a fitted sheet. So simple stuff is practical like that. But it has evolved into, developing a strong spiritual life, because I feel as if once you're resilient spiritually, you can handle all of these different periods of transition. Essentially to help women fill up their cups so that, we pour out so much. And it's a place almost like a well where people can be poured into for all of the pouring that they subsequently do.
And obviously women do a lot of pouring into everyone and everything.
Exactly.
So talk to us about how Wifer Ministry has impacted the lives of the women that's involved in it.
Well, a myriad of ways. So we, obviously through our events and the resources, the live events that we've provided, a lot of teaching through a vast array of topics, sometimes things that people don't normally talk about, we've been able to address over the years. As I got more busy in my personal life, we shifted a little bit. So at the start of it, I was a newlywed, now a mother of one. And so fertility programs, our event Galentine Vibes, which has grown. We have an annual fast called Focus Fast, which is a really spiritually sensitive time that helps people to regroup from the end of the year and really begin to think about how they want to position themselves for the new year and hear from God for the new year. So across the gamut, we try to help as much as we can. We do a lot across a lot of markets, so we're not just wife-focused. We have divorcees in the group, single women in the group, future wives, which we call them in the group, wives in the group. We have separated women in the group. And so it's a matter of really touching, and also widows, it's a matter of touching people where they are and providing the support and community that they need. In a particular season, we may not get to everything, but overall, that's the goal, to help women.
And obviously in this your journey for your ministry, what would you say you've learned from wives and marriages that you didn't expect?
Well, I think at first I thought there was a type of readiness that you can achieve, but I realized over time that you will never fully be ready, and that's ready for anything. You'll never fully be ready, even when you're going off to college. You're never fully ready for the experience, because there are going to be nuances unique to your experience. And so what we have to do is move away from generalizations to thinking that my experience will be your experience and vice versa, and try to find themes of connectedness between us that are the same and have an empathy towards everyone's situation.
And how do you personally stay encouraged and avoid burnout while preparing for all of this?
Well, I really enjoy what I do. I really enjoy serving God's daughters. I feel like when you've been graced for something and it's an assignment from the Lord, like, you do have a special grace for what you do. In terms of the element of rest, I have a team that's been built over time. They've been with me for some years now, and that has been really helpful. We've spread the weight significantly across the team. and you know, really just the people who show up. It's been an honor to get to know people. They also help and support, and just the support from the Bahamas in general has been so heartwarming, because you know, my husband and I moved abroad now. The Bahamians are just so supportive. It makes it a joy to do all of the pouring that we do. And when it's time for me to pull away for a little bit, they give me grace to do so. So it's just been a joy.
Now, I know your first Galentine's Vibes was in 2020 and it was virtual. So what made you come up with this idea for the event?
Well, actually, it was in person.
Really?
Yeah, I was here. I was here in 2020.
Okay.
Right before the pandemic. It was literally February before the pandemic, March, you know, haywire. And so that was beautiful. I think we had about 50 women. It wasn't called Galentine Vibes at the time, but it was our first Galentine's initiative. We went virtual during the pandemic. And then afterwards, we went to Canada. So relaunching a face-to-face event in Canada. I picked Canada because that was where I gave my life to the Lord. I rededicated my life to Christ when I was in university. And, you know, just to see people travel, it was a snowstorm, and people traveled from the Bahamas to see snow, but they didn't want to see that much snow, because it literally was like you couldn't even see out the windshield. There was a lot of snow. But like I said, the support has been so real. It's truly been a joy. It's logistically challenging because this event does move from place to place, eventually coming back. But it's just been a joy to meet people across so many diverse spaces. We meet new business owners everywhere we go, new talent everywhere we go. We're able to do a mix of Bahamian speakers and Bahamian psalmists, as well as, you know, Americans, even Canadians, eventually Europeans as well. But it's really like a melting pot. As I was driving here, I was thinking, you know, the slogan for ZNS is ZNS covers the Bahamas so well, right?
Nobody covers the Bahamas.
Exactly. So we're in competition with ZNS, where we want to take the Bahamas, the jewel of the Bahamas, everywhere we go, and show people the beauty of our people. So we literally have a very big blend of local talent, even some of them who live abroad, and mixing in, you know, the diversity of other places as well.
So obviously this event has grown over the years.
It has, from our modest beginnings here, and you can see the visuals. It definitely is growing. We try to execute in excellence wherever we go, and I think that's a tribute to who we are as Bahamians. Like, we do like to execute in excellence, and people appreciate that across the board. I meet event planners of all different walks of life who execute very large events, and they also have their eyes on Galentine Vibes for what we've been able to cultivate. Even with, I don't have a huge audience, I don't have a huge following, the ministry pages don't either, but the support has been just phenomenal.
And that's obviously important. So what can attendees expect from this event that's slated for the 20th to the 23rd in Orlando, Florida? Well,
the theme is birthing ground. So our focus is helping people birth their purpose babies. So essentially, if you feel like you have a vision from the Lord and you need someone to help you midwife that thing, that's what this whole event is all about. So we have everything centered around that. We also invite some husbands to attend. We're family oriented. We have on-site childcare. We have a King's Lounge, so we allow husbands to come. We have some programming for them as well. You can anticipate worship, collaboration, connection. The hugs are amazing. We have a dress code, but it's so beautiful to see on site. We have refreshments. This year we have a tea party called Give Her Her Flowers. Worship segments. I mean, across the board, we try to tick, all the things that girls love. Fellowship, fun, faith. It's essentially that at Galentine Vibes.
Well, obviously, tell us where persons rather what they need to do to get more information about this event.
So you can find us on Instagram at Galentine Vibes, and also find us online at www.galentinevibes.com. And you can find all the information there. You can look me up, Zemi Stewart, pop in my messages, ask me any questions you want to. And that's essentially it. The ministry is Wife for Ministry, also on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So you can find us anywhere.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us today, Zemi, and all the best in your future endeavors. And I'm sure Galentine's Day is going to be awesome this year.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, you're watching What's Trending. There's so much more after the break.